And welcome to the Columbus Career Analyst. This is Jake Hallfinger, and today we'll be going over a match preview for the game for the Hellas Real Dari against Cincinnati. Really looking forward to this one. I'll be at the game tonight, and looking forward to a great game with an electric crowd. Probably, I would assume, a sellout too. So, looking forward to that. First, we'll start off with some stats for the two teams. For the regular table, Cincinnati are in first right now, and the Crew are in eighth. Cincinnati's a +4 goal differential, and the Crew have a +8, so the Crew is slightly better goal differential there, but also slightly lower on the table. But then if we look at the XG table, the Crew are ninth, so a little bit lower, 5 spots lower than where they would be in the regular table, but not too different. But then when you look at Cincinnati, Cincinnati is 21st in the XG table. So basically, even more so opposite than Montreal. Montreal was higher in the XG table than they were, and we ended up drawing with them, which showed something. But Cincinnati is actually 20 spots lower in the XG table than they are in the actual table. And there's only 30 teams, so they are a bottom half team. They should be a bottom half team based on XG, which is a better indicator than goals, which the regular table uses. So really, they shouldn't be first. They are a bottom half team, maybe towards the middle, but they shouldn't be as high as they are, definitely. And then if you look at the expected goal differential, the Crew have a +5.9. So again, a little bit lower. The Crew are slightly above where they should be. But but Cincinnati also has a -2.3, so a lot lower. And thanks, Jonathan, for making the chat. Yeah, the XG table wasn't showing because I didn't have time to update it from last match day. I didn't want to put the old one up there, but I do have the stats. I did do a quick run, but I didn't have time to input all the output that I got from the code into Canva. It takes a while to do that with all the logos and moving everything around. So I didn't have time. I put the chat though there, so I think everyone should be able to see that chat. And then let's move on to the attack. The Crew have averaged 1.4 goals per game, which is 11th, and Cincy averaged 1.35 goals per game, which is 15th. So the Crew are a little bit better with goals per game, but Crew are a little bit above average. Cincy are exactly average, right in the middle. And then if we look at XG, the Crew are again 11th with 1.6 XG per 90. So the Crew have scored pretty much as many goals as they should have, as many as the chances they've created would allow. So they're about even there. Cincinnati has averaged 1.38 goals per game, and that puts them 15th, so again, average. But they have 1.3 expected goals per game. So both teams have scored about as many goals as you would expect. And then for their XG, since Cincinnati's is slightly lower, they're tied for 18th. So again, slightly below mid-table, but about average. And then possession, the Crew have averaged 59.2% possession, the highest in the league. And Cincinnati's averaged 51%, which is 13th. So Cincinnati's, again, about average, with that stat too is slightly above. And then we'll move on to defense. Both teams have averaged a goal against per game, which has them both tied for 5th. So both defenses are very good. And the Crew have averaged 1.18 XG against per game, which has them tied for 7th. So again, the Crew are a good defensive team because they like to go slow through possession and don't allow the other team to have the ball. So they struggle to score goals because they don't have the ball as much. And then if we look at Cincinnati's, they average 1.46 expected goals against per game, which has them 16th. So again, about average, but it's a lot lower than their 5th place 1 goal against per game. They're getting lucky with how many goals are scored against them. So that's where the XG table comes in and brings them down. And I'll touch on this a little bit more later with the keys with the game, but a stat that is crazy, I think it's a record breaker. The last 8 games for Cincinnati have all been within 1 goal. So for example, it might be 2-1, 1-0, 3-2, but there hasn't been a game in their last 8 games have all been within 1 goal. And they've only lost 1 of those games. So they've won 7 of their last 8. And all of those games have been decided by 1 goal. which is crazy when you think about it. I mean, that just definitely doesn't happen very often. Something else, Cincinnati is last in accurate crosses per game, so we shouldn't worry about them crossing the ball too much. They are last in accurate crosses per game, and Cincy is also tied for third in clean sheets, so they've gotten a pretty good amount of clean sheets. Okay, and now we'll look at predictions. So because Cincinnati's XG has been, or expected place in the XG table is pretty low. The Crew actually are favored to win, and also the Crew are at home. So the Crew have a 48.35% chance of winning. There's a 24.26% chance of a draw, and a 27.39% chance of Cincinnati winning. So the Crew are heavily favored there. Yeah, and then the expected goals for this game should be 1.66 for the Crew to 1.19 for Cincinnati. So, again, the Crew are favored with how many goals they're expected to score for this game. And that leads me to my prediction. My prediction, again, I'm going with a game that's going to be decided within one goal, and that is 3-2, the Crew will win. I think, even though defenses are good, I think there's, in a lot of these games, especially like in the Eastern Conference Final, it was 2-2 in regular time, but it ended up being 3-2. I think it'll be an exciting game. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, if it's 3-2, it should be a great game. So, yeah. Now we'll move on to my lineup that I picked. Schulte in goal. I've gone Moreira, Zawadzki, Chiberko. I mean, you could have a Munson start at the left center back spot or Chiberko start at the center back spot. But I feel that Munson hasn't played as well as he had been last season. He hasn't been playing as well lately. I think he's probably lost a little bit of confidence. I just think Chiberko has had a really good start to the season. And I think that we need to have the best starting lineup that we can possibly have. This game is a very big game, and hopefully we can win. So, yeah. And then next I've gone for Nagbe and Chambeau in the middle. Both of them have been very good. Chambeau has a lot of assists, too. Again, they're not the most defensively oriented center mids. They're more both eights. Nagbe's a 6, but he's not a ball winner like Zawadzki is more. But I think that we'll be fine. We should still control possession, especially since we're at home. The crowd will be behind us. There should be a very good crowd. And then wingbacks, Farsi and Arfston, not much to say there. They've our two best wingbacks. Then again, same with Rossi and Gazdag. I mean, they're two of our highest paid players. They have to start. And then I'd say probably the biggest toss-up for who should start, the biggest question is Russell Rowe or AZ. I've gone for Russell Rowe. I feel just because he's a better finisher, has height, and I feel like we could use that. I mean, Cincinnati have a fairly tall team. I think at least their center backs are big. They play a 3-back too, so I think that Russell Rowe would help there, and then also spread out their back line because he's more of a natural striker. AZ is more of a 10, so I think that having someone that can push their back line will be good. I mean, Nancy might. I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's really a toss-up between those two, and I think whoever doesn't start should be subbed on to give a chance, especially if we need to win the game. So, yeah. And then my key for the game is to use the crowd. If we'll have a big crowd behind us. I mean, I assume it would be a sellout, and the crowd will be very loud, especially at the start of the game. But if it can mellow out, simmer down if we don't capitalize on that, if we have a slow start to the game. So we need to have a fast start to the game, get some chances, get the crowd going. They should already be going at the beginning of the game, but keep them going, give them something to cheer for, and best case scenario, we get an early goal, get the crowd going, and then we can get a second and hopefully, possibly even a third. So I would say, yeah, the key to the game is using the crowd by having a good start to the game. So yeah, looking forward to the game very much. I'll be at the game. I'm most likely going to do a match reaction after the game. So maybe around, I mean, I still have to go home after that. So maybe 45 minutes after the game ends, I'll do a live stream for that. So go Crew, glory